that story is characters.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to another exciting, or not exciting, episode of the greatest show in all of the internet, Late Night Baltimore. Oh, wait, there's the other sounds over here. Okay, there's the screen layout. Oops, looks playing around. Okay, all right, well, let's see. Stay here, everybody. Turn off the fan for a second. Okay, everybody. Tonight's episode is about press conference today. Tom Massey, Marjorie Taylor Greene, and somebody, Rogue Khanna. All right, let's watch this. California. Hold on now. Let's get the sound on here.
Leading this effort to bring transparency and justice for these victims. I hope my colleagues are watching this press conference. I want them to think, what if this was your sister? What if this was your daughter? When these survivors speak, the Washington establishment is asking the American public to believe something that is not believable. They're asking you to believe that two individuals created hundreds of victims and they acted alone, and that the DOJ has no idea of who else might have been involved, that nobody else did anything that rose to a criminal enterprise. The American people know that's not true. Now, the Speaker of the House just offered a fig leaf to my colleagues. They're going to vote on a non-binding resolution today that does absolutely nothing. I appreciate the efforts of my colleague, James Comer, who's leading the Oversight Committee. They may find some information, but they're allowing the DOJ to curate all of the information that the DOJ is giving them. If you've looked at the pages they've released so far, they're heavily redacted. Some pages are entirely redacted. And 97% of this is already in the public domain. That I give you Marjorie Taylor Greene.
Here's Marjorie Taylor Greene. Actually making sense movies.
Good morning. This is my 5th year in Congress, and this is the largest press conference that I've seen since I've been here. And this is because this is an issue that matters so much to Americans. This is an issue that doesn't have political boundaries. It's an issue that Republicans and Democrats should never fight about. As a matter of fact, it's such an important issue that it should bring us all together. It's grieved me to watch the arguments and debates take place among my colleagues and even the administration. I think this is something that was worth fighting for. You see, the women behind me are going to tell you stories that you've never heard before. These are unimaginable horrors that they've lived with for their entire lives since they were very, very young. But these are also similar stories that many children, teenagers, women, and even men are enduring nightmares right now as we speak. You see, these women have been fighting since the 1990s. I heard one woman tell us yesterday since 1996. And they have carried with them shame. But I want to tell you something. The shame does not fall on these brave, courageous women. The shame falls on every single person that coldly turned a blind eye to their abuse. The shame falls on every single person that enabled it. The shame falls on every single person that took money to continue it. And the shame falls on the people in power over the past several decades that protected the monster, Jeffrey Epstein, and his cabal that continued a nightmare. Those people deserve the shame. And today we are coming forward and we are going to fight like hell for these women, because we have to fight like hell for those that are enduring sexual abuse and are living in a prison of shame. Anyone that is being abused, it is not your fault. you should live with no guilt or fear or shame. All of the fault belongs to the evil people that do these things to the innocent. This is the most important fight we can wage here in Congress, is fighting for innocent people that never receive justice. And the women behind me have never received justice. And do you want to know why? It's because Jeffrey Epstein somehow was able to walk among the most rich, powerful people, not only in America, but foreign countries. Yesterday, I heard countries like Saudi Arabia, Russia, and even Israel and other countries. The truth needs to come out, and the government holds the truth. The cases that are sealed hold the truth. Jeffrey Epstein's estate holds the truth. The FBI, the DOJ, and the CIA holds the truth. And the truth we are demanding come out on behalf of these women, but also as a strong message to every innocent child, teenager, woman, and man that is being held captive in abuse. This should never happen in America, and it should never be a political issue that divides us. And I want to thank Ro Khanna and Thomas Massie for doing something brave, crossing political boundaries for a very important fight. And I'm honored to join both of them. And I'm honored that Nancy Mace and Lauren Boebert signed the discharge petition along with myself. And I asked my Republican colleagues not to choose just one path for justice and transparency and accountability, but I asked my Republican colleagues to choose every path for justice and accountability and transparency.
Talking about releasing Epstein files. That's actually pretty good. That's really nice. It stood up. So hopefully we see something happen on that front, because they throw around these accusations, and now we actually can have evidence and help do something about it. If you don't do anything about this, then it's ridiculous. All right. It's not a partisan thing, because there'll be Democrats on the list, I'm sure. Democratic donors, I mean. But they did it, then F them. You know? Don't care who you are. If you're in those files and credibly and the accusations are accurate, then, and the evidence is there, then too bad. All right, that was good. Okay, that happened today. And also, let's see what's happening with ICE today. What are they doing? All right, here's another raid a couple of days back in Chicago. The more ICE raids, right? I mean, these Home Depots, man. Jeez. Everybody wants to raid the Home Depot. All right, here we go. Let's see what these people. This is from Chicago a couple of days back.
Across the country. Eyewitness News reporter Carlos Granda joins us live in the Westlake District with the very latest. Carlos?
And that's right. This is where it happened. This is the Home Depot, where we have seen at least 3 other raids since the last few months. It all happened here in the Westlake District. Now, people here say that this morning agents actually came by and grabbed people that were waiting outside this building, the Labor Day Center. On video, the moment when the unmarked vans drive into the area, and within seconds, agents jump out.
A lot of people running up and down, people tripping over themselves, people falling, people people frantic, people trying to find safety, not knowing if they're going to be grabbed or not.
It all happened outside the Carecen Day Labor Center next to the Home Depot. This surveillance video shows how it all unfolded. Within seconds, they launch gas canisters. One person tries to run and is chased by an officer. He falls down, gets up, and still tries to run.
Mira la migración, les dije.
This man says he saw the agents and screamed out, "ICE is here." He says they came out with weapons and masks, and we found several empty gas canisters in the area.
Bro, they got raided right now.
It's the same Home Depot where just a few weeks ago, we saw agents jumping out of a truck in the so-called Trojan horse raid. This comes as White House border czar Tom Homan pledged this morning an increase in raids all over the country.
70% of the people ICE arrests are criminals. Who's the other 30%? National security threats. We arrested thousands of national security threats.
People here say this morning they closed the doors to the labor center and agents did not try to go in.
I didn't see them carry any warrant. I didn't see them identify themselves or ask for anybody in specific. Seems to me as if they were just grabbing whoever they could.
We contacted the Department of Homeland Security, and it sent us a statement which says in part, 3 of those arrested had extensive rap sheets for crimes, including visa overstay, possession of a controlled substance, and grand theft. One individual also had a final order of deportation from an immigration judge. Now, DHS says altogether 8 people were arrested. 6 of those are from Guatemala, 1 from El Salvador, and 1 from Mexico. Reporting live in the West Lake.
All right. Well, that isn't terrifying. People in a Home Depot, they're day laborers trying to do work that's needed, and they get raided. And it sounds like, well, we'll work out the details later. You know, some more horrible things going on in this country. You didn't think this day would ever come? Well, I'm having a bad hair day. That's all right. All right. That was ICE in Chicago. Now we're going to do some an update in what is happening in Ukraine. We very much support backing Ukraine and supporting Ukraine and keeping Russia from taking Ukraine. And it's really sad how the current regime in power here is ignoring the plight. That's an update, though. Let's get an update on what's going on in Ukraine. This is from several hours ago. So Ukraine is fighting back. All right, here we go.
During the operations, Ukrainian forces made a very interesting discovery beyond the border. Dozens of TM-62 anti-tank mines were detected under 2 critical bridges in Belgorod. This discovery provided Ukraine with the explosive power it needed, directly with the Kremlin's help. On August 29th, Ukraine blew up 2 bridges in Belgorod, just across the border, using $600 FPV drones and triggering the TM-62 anti-tank mines hidden by the Russian army under the bridges. Ukrainian sources stated that the first bridge was near Krasny Khutor and that the second was disabled using a similar method. The details of the operation targeting the bridges revealed all the facts. Nearly invisible FPVs capable of carrying 5-10 kilograms of trigger explosives were selected to silently approach the mines discovered under the bridges. FPVs, capable of landing under tunnels where signal interference prevails, were driven to the target and detonated in a way that shattered the superstructure. The 58th Motorized Brigade, which carried out the operation, reported that it disabled both crossings using the same tactic and shared the footage with the public. This was indeed an interesting and noteworthy operation. The Russian side probably did not expect the bridges to be blown up in this way. While explaining the details of the tactic, the Ukrainian side stated that standard reconnaissance UAVs lost connection under the bridges, where electronic jamming was high, and therefore they switched to FPV platforms that could transmit images via fiber optic cable. Once the packages under the bridge piers were detected, a ram was driven into the target, and the secondary explosion of the stacked ammunition collapsed the superstructure. This approach means reducing the cost exponentially by triggering the ready-made explosive at the point where the enemy placed it, rather than hitting the bridges with HIMARS or ballistic ammunition. Moreover, explosives hidden under the bridge create a vulnerability invisible on classic air defense radar screens. The threat seeps through engineering gaps, not radar cross-sections.
If you have mold in your house, watch this.
All right. Well, where are we? Where are we? All right, that's interesting news. We hope Ukraine keeps standing strong against the invaders into the east, into the west. It's weird how this war has unfolded. In the early days, it seemed like it was just a lot of World War II reenactors. Now, the technology is moved so quickly that it seems like something science fiction with all these drones and all this sophisticated weaponry that's constantly updating, changing. The technology's moving forward. So we just hope for Ukraine holds out and that some kind of ceasefire and peace comes, and that Russia is discouraged, and hopefully in the not too distant future, the Ukraine can become part of NATO. That would be the best for this to play out. Then there would be an entire continent bulwark against Russia and all their empirical interests. All right, that's them. And now for some news. What's happening in football? Let's see. Tomorrow night is the first game. Dallas and Philadelphia. It's at Philadelphia. Well, no major injuries for either team. Philadelphia should probably win that. They're 8.5-point favorites. And then on Friday, there's a game at 8. Kansas City is at the Los Angeles Chargers. And that should be a good contest as well. Interesting. Kansas City on the road. So see how Kansas City does after their Super Bowl hangover. All right. Now, here's some history. Let's see. Is that in? That's good. All right. Now we're going to look at some history. Ancient history. The death of Alexander the Great. Was Alexander the Great buried alive? Well, let's take a look. Let's see. Some interesting things. All right. Okay.
The great Alexander, who conquered lands far and wide, met a tragic end at a young age. After suffering for 12 days, he was declared dead and buried in Alexandria. But what if I told you there's a theory that suggests he may have been buried alive? According to Dr. Catherine Hall, a senior lecturer at the University of Otago, New Zealand, she suggests that Alexander may have suffered from a rare autoimmune disorder that caused a progressive, symmetrical ascending paralysis, leading to a decrease in visible breathing. As a result, Alexander's doctors might have falsely declared him dead before he actually died. Hall's theory challenges traditional beliefs about Alexander's cause of death and raises questions about the accuracy of historical account. If this is true, it means Alexander may have been left to die in his tomb without anyone knowing. What are your views? Let's discuss in the comments.
Well, call me a cockeyed optimist if you want, but I tend to think that Dr. Hall seemed to have a lot of credibility. And I'm going to say I agree with that theory. Alexander was buried alive. All right. Very interesting. Okay, everybody. Remember, football begins in less than 20 hours. And it's going to be some great football this year. It's going to be a great season. Because the Ravens are going to win the Super Bowl this year. Yeah, I said it. All right, everyone. That's about all we have to say today. Remember, we didn't get this way in this kind of all the state we are, the country, the way it is. This didn't happen overnight. It happened because a lot of people didn't do anything. A lot of people sat back and let other people go out and work. I mean, you can't knock on doors. That's all right. I understand. You can't call. That's another thing. Those are all understandable. Not, but what you can do is you can do something. You can get your friends to vote. You can vote. And you can, if you can donate. It's hard to do, but, we have to fight because we're not a fascist country. We're not a country that believes in authoritarianism or whatever you want to call it. So remember that. It's not too early to start researching who are your people around, who are your local representatives, who's running for Senate in your state. And you got to get out and vote. So in 26, we can't worry about the people who voted for the current occupant of the White House. You're not going to do anything for them. But what you can do is try to get motivated the people. And if they're not motivated now, I mean, that's a disturbing idea. But if they're scared or they just don't want to ignore what's going on, because they have a lot of trouble in everyday life is enough struggle for a lot of people. But still, you have to do something. And for the people who didn't vote, get out there and really research the candidates and the issues. They'll see that what's happening here in the United States is something of a nightmare. That nobody, it wouldn't be acceptable in any era. And we can't go down like this. We can't let the country sink with these people. MAGA. So remember, Eagles, Dallas, I'm going Eagles. And as always, F MAGA. All right. Good night, everybody.